So if you haven't heard about our lovely, wonderful Lord and Savior that is Nintendo, you know, our favorite video game company that loves and respects every single community that went out of their way and did everything in their power to help buy and support these lovely, wonderful games that we love to play. Yeah, you know, that Nintendo, the Nintendo that repeatedly, just metaphorically gets up, gets behind us, just bends us over and just hits us with over and over. Yeah, you know, that Nintendo, they just did it again. They did it again. So but that very Nintendo, they did it again. They bent us over without our consent and or permission, and they did it again. So if you aren't aware, recently Nintendo's latest effort to try and Nintendo's most recent effort to shut down and once again kill their esports community is they came up with a bunch of tournament and community and tournament guidelines for anybody who wants to run a tournament in Smash Bros. Now, I'm not even gonna comment on it fully because I haven't seen it yet, but just knowing Nintendo's reputation, I can kind of create a few expectations. Now, just looking at the article, it says the publication date is October 24th, 2023, which is today, and it says that the day of this recording, and it says the effective date is November 15th, 2023, which is, let me see how far that is from when I'm recording this. So that's about 2.5 weeks. So that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so about 2.5 weeks for this to be effective. So any tournaments that are already going on and already planned from between now and November 15th, oh, this doesn't apply to you. But every tournament after November 15th, this 100% completely applies to you. Which, by the way, I just want to say, I don't know if you out there are used to like tournaments or event planning, and I'm not really a TO or nothing like that, so I can't tell you the nuanced details about it, but I do know a thing or two about event planning. And let me just say, 3 weeks is not enough time because venues and working out deals with hotels and things like that. 3 weeks, that's not enough time at all to cancel a lot of people's hotel reservations and things of that nature, to be able to just tell people, hey, that tournament that you potentially spent, let's say $5,000 or $1,000 or however many thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars that you saved up over time, booking reservations, booking flights, booking all this stuff for it to come to, yeah, fuck you. We can't do it no more because Nintendo set out a little document in their latest effort to kill their community. And like, I'm gonna talk more about Nintendo's efforts to kill the community, because like, by the way, the videos from my old channel, I have been able to recover some of them, so the good ones I will put back up on this channel and they will come out over time. But yeah, I'm gonna read through the document and then I'm gonna see like what does and doesn't make sense out of everything they did. So hold on, let me turn the music down a little bit. All right, so thank you. Y'all can see it. Okay, cool. I gotta pull my screen up. I'm sorry if it blocks a little bit of me. I'm sorry. Also, wait, isn't my chair not all the way up? Oh, no, my chair is all the way up. All right, so thank you for sharing your passion for Nintendo's games, characters, and worlds. Nintendo cares about the community and would like to support individuals who want to celebrate that passion by creating memorable, cooperative, and competitive play experiences. At the same time, we want to ensure that fans who are doing so are engaging with our games, characters, and worlds in a way that positively supports other fans, players, and Nintendo. Okay, so far this is going good. And one rule I don't, you know what? Let me read through the document, then I'm gonna talk about it, because I have so many thoughts brewing and flowing through my head, and I want to read through the document and be able to say my piece and say everything and be well informed. Because like I have a couple ideas and things that I've heard and seen, and mixed with some stuff that I thought myself on my own, sorting through other people's opinions, mixing the logical opinions with my thoughts, and I'm gonna give that to you later on. But in that spirit, we have created guidelines for individual organizers to follow when hosting not-for-profit, small-scale community tournaments. Community tournaments involving games for which Nintendo owns the copyright Nintendo games. Please familiarize yourself with the guidelines below before planning a community tournament. So, in that case, okay, that does make sense, because actually that kind of doesn't make sense, because what you low-key told me right there is, if you ain't making no money, we just fuck you. That, like, basically they said we made this rule book so that if you do anything we don't like, we can find any little technicality or any little bullshit to say fuck you, that wasn't sanctioned. Pack them up, smoke them up, roll them, get them out of here. So all those local tournaments where it's 15 people in a bracket in a bar, sounds like Nintendo's just saying fuck you to all of those. So the community tournament is small scale and not for commercial profit. Community tournaments may not generate commercial revenue except as permitted by these guidelines. Tournaments may include up to 200 participants. And sorry if I'm reading a little bit fast. You can always hit the slow down speed button in the YouTube settings. Tournaments may include up to, so this is the upper limit, up to 200 participants for in-person tournaments, or up to 300 participants for online tournaments. Why the fuck are you giving two different numbers? Why? Please, what the fuck is the point of that? Entry fees collected from participants may be used for covering the cost of organizing the tournaments and towards prizing. So, for example, using the money to buy setups, okay, completely valid. Using the money to feed the what do you call it? To feed the volunteers, I guess is just a fuck you, no. Organizers that have reached the legal age of majority in their jurisdiction, don't know what the hell that means, may provide goods and services to participants as prizes. I don't know what that means. No prize may exceed the market value of $5,000 USD in total or include the prohibited items outlined in Q17 below. So, just a quick side note, for those of you who don't watch tournaments too much, let me just put it like this heavily. That ain't shit. Street Fighter tournaments usually on average hit at least 10,000 prize pool. They're saying 5,000 prize pool, that's like dog shit. For like any for a tournament that has let's say 200 to 300 people, $5,000 prize pool, awful. For Smash, that's amazing. That's crazy. That's huge. Because for some fucking reason, the developers of Smash just hate Smash. But without going into too much of a rant, 5,000, that's dog shit. The total value of cash prizing a single organizer can offer through community tournaments in a 12-month period must be no more than the equivalent of 10K. Oh my God. This reminds me of that statistic I saw where somebody looked up how much money Hungrybox made off of tournaments in his entire career, and it was something like 100,000 or some shit like that. Which, to put it in perspective, he's been playing Melee since like let's say 2013 to 2010. $100,000. So, in some years he may have won more than he have won in others. Maybe some years he had a bad year, he was slacking off a little bit. Maybe some years where he had a really good year and that's where he won the majority of his money. So understand that this 10K is not a flat rate. But let me count it as a flat rate just to give you a perspective of how fucking awful that number is. So let's say with 100,000, and I don't know if this is the exact number, it could be lower, probably is, because Smash tournament payouts are shit, even Evo. Let's say it was 100K over 10 years, even though it's longer, shorter, whatever. 100K over 10 years, that's 10K a year. If you work a minimum wage job from 2013 to now, you would have made more than 10K a year. So understand that Hungrybox, he had his own job. Like, he had, like, during his time playing Smash, like, he had like a normal job, and he's also a full-time content creator, became a full-time content creator, and was a content creator throughout. So he had like money, so he wasn't just a broke ass Smash player. But understand, if I wanted to, I don't know, maybe focus on being good at Smash and make that my passion, my dream job, I guess it's just a big fuck you, because he was signed to an org, so his flights and stuff were covered. But let's think about the people whose flights and stuff aren't covered, and let's not even talk about other games like Street Fighter, for example. I love using Street Fighter because, like, Street Fighter was a game that wasn't designed to be competitive, but it became so competitive over time. And like, the developers, they actually support their fucking community. They realize that in a competitive game, a competitive community is going to rise. Like, nigga, there are competitive Mario Party tournaments, there's competitive Mario Kart 8 tournaments, there's competitive Nidhogg tournaments. Any game with competition, any game with a score system, shit, there's competitive Pac-Man tournaments. Any game with any level of competition, like mechanics, has a competitive scene. Don't know why Nintendo's so hell-bent on killing theirs, but like, if I was a player of literally any non-Nintendo competitive game, so I'm talking everything from CSGO to 2K to freaking what's a non-shooter game? I said CSGO, 2K to Street Fighter, literally any non-Nintendo competitive game. What's the race car driving game they had a movie about? Gran Turismo or Forza. If I played any other competitive game, I could live off of playing the game by itself and just practicing the game and being good at the game. Smash, you can't do that. But I'm getting off track. Let's get back to the fucking document. The total value of so 10K over all your prize pools for a whole year. For in-person community tournaments, organizers that have reached the legal age of majority in their jurisdiction. Let me look up what that means, because I like that. That's a term that it looks like they're gonna be using a lot, and I need to know what the fuck it means. Legal age of majority. Age of majority. Most countries set the age of majority at 18, but okay, no. Define what the fuck is the age of majority is the threshold of legal adulthood as recognized or declared in law. It is the moment when a person ceases to be considered a minor and assures legal control over their person, actions, and decisions. So, okay, so between 18 and 21. Okay, let's just leave it there. Between 18 and 21. So let's just say 18 to have a nice solid number to make understanding easier. So whenever they say legal age of majority, just replace it with 18 up in your mind. Because whenever you read this Nintendo stuff, even when I used to read patch notes for Smash Bros and stuff like that, the translation team, they have to translate it and try and put it into words that any old average Joe reading this page can understand. So sometimes they remove the technical terms and just define the term as short as they can in place of where they will put that technical term. So legal age of majority, from now on, when I read it, I'm gonna say 18 years or older, or 18, something along those lines. For in-person community tournaments, organizers that have reached 18 years or older in their jurisdiction may collect an admission from spectators of not more than the equivalent of $15 USD per person. That's awful. That's a W for the consumer, but that's a L for tournament organizers, because that rule just makes life difficult for no goddamn reason. Admission fees collected from spectators must be used solely for the purpose of covering costs of organizing the tournament and not used towards prizing. So However much money you charging spectators, can't use that for nothing more than running a tournament. You want to use the money to, I don't know, make a bigger prize pool to incentivize more people to who like playing the game competitively to come play and try their hand at winning? Fuck you. You can only use that money to help run the tournament. Oh, and also, it's not for profit, so you can't pay anybody who works in it. We just gotta magically make some fucking volunteers that give a shit about this game appear out of nowhere for free. Because again, can't be for profit. Collecting fees from spectators for online community tournaments is not permitted under any circumstances. Who the fuck did, like, please name me a case where somebody did that. I don't know any, and I may be wrong, and there may be cases where they do that, but please name a single one, because you benefit more off of streaming it for free than charging an admission price to the stream. But hey, I'm not the multi-billion-dollar company trying to kill their competitive community. I'm just a nigga who knows what he's talking about. Organizers collecting fees must publicly disclose all. What the fuck? Why do I gotta tell niggas what I'm doing with the money when it doesn't concern them? What? Why the fuck does it matter? What? Organizers collecting fees must publicly disclose all accounting related to the cost of hosting the event promptly, including entry fees, admission fees, and prizes distributed by posting them on a website and/or social media accessible to everybody. Either they're trying to say you have to let everybody read the financials of what you're doing with all this money received, which is kind of fucking stupid. A, or B, they're saying like you have to tell them, you basically have to tell them spectator money is like you have to disclose what you're doing with the money, or you have to give a financial report. Again, in either case, fucking stupid. Only with when hosting a community tournament, organizers may not receive goods, services, money from third parties as sponsors. So I want to hear from TOs about this part, because I understand conceptually how hard it is to run a tournament. Because like when I ran a tournament in my school, using the couple times I did it using like me and my friends switches and stuff like that, and a school's switch to run the tournament, I understand. Like let me get it straight. I only did it like 3 or 4 times, so like I have a teeny tiny glimpse into the idea. And also keep in mind that nobody was charged entry fees. You know, it was just a small school tournament where people could just sign up to enter. Nobody had to pay fees. There was no monetary actual monetary prize pool. It was all made by because my school was one of those schools that had like an in-school money. So for example, let's say you go to, I don't know. Oh, actually, let me use an actual example. It wasn't this school, but an actual example was the middle school I went to. We had a principal named Rux. So the in-school money was named Rux Bucks. So, for example, the prize pool would be $500, and first place would get 250 Rux Bucks. So, like, I have a glimpse in the understanding that running a tournament is not easy. And I did this shit for free. I ran a free tournament. So I never ran like a large scale tournament, and running that free tournament, I wouldn't say I was stressed, because like I was having fun at the end of the day. But at the same time, it was like, damn, like people do this shit for money. People live off of this. Woo. So like to basically say like you can't pay anybody involved and nobody involved can accept money, like the fuck, I'm just supposed to do this shit for entertainment? Like, yes, it's entertaining. Yes, it's fun, but niggas gotta eat. Like, there's a lot of rappers who would rather rap for free, but they charge to do shows because they gotta eat. There's a lot of people who would like to do a lot of things for free, but they charge because they gotta eat. And then you making it so that they can't accept sponsors, you're just making life unnecessarily harder, bro. Like, so unnecessarily harder for no reason. The tournament may use Nintendo game footage or images under the following conditions, Organizers may show footage of tournament gameplay at in-person community tournament venues for games officially launched by Nintendo. So, in case you don't understand the code words that they put in there, they basically said no modified games. They may say it outright later on in the document, but what they said in short right there, and they're probably going to say clearly later, no modified games. So, just so you understand, that means no frozen Pokemon Stadium, no universal controller fix, no, I forgot what it's called. I think UCF is the snapback fix. No snapback fix. No nerfs and buffs to make characters who have mechanics that straight up just don't work in the original release game worked. So for example, fixing Roy's dash attack hitbox so it works. Nope. You gotta play with the fucked up one, the fucked up Roy who can't dash attack. Fixing Game and Watch's shield to make sure that it works. Nope. Fuck you. You gotta have a fucked up assed out shield. Project M, I don't know if I said that. Yep, that shit's just gone. You forget about that. Ultra Melee, that shit is gone. The Smash 4 Melee mod, that shit gone. You have to use the base version. So if you want to use a version with Bayonetta nerfed to death, nerfed into fairness, a version of Smash 4 with Bayonetta nerfed into fairness, a community mod, nope, fuck you. You can only use the release version where Bayonetta is broken. Why? Because fuck you. Organizers may use captured footage or screenshots of Nintendo games for any announcement materials the community tournament so long as the game has officially launched. The only way that it would make sense for them to have to make this rule is if niggas was dropping footage for unannounced games. But I haven't seen it. And I'm pretty in tune with the Smash community in terms of watching tournaments and stuff like that. But please name a time where somebody like played a leaked Nintendo game, a leaked copy of Smash at a tournament. Like even the people who are risky enough to like download Smash when it came out early and stuff like that. Even when people were doing that, they still weren't stupid enough to run a whole fucking tournament using that game. But whatever. The community tournament is not affiliated with Nintendo and makes no use of Nintendo trademarks or IP except as permitted by these guidelines. Community tournaments may not falsely imply Nintendo is associated with, sponsoring, or otherwise affiliated with the event and may not be presented as official or endorsed by Nintendo. First rule I saw so far that makes any sense. That's false advertising. False advertising is bad and harmful for the community because we want to know if Nintendo actually sponsors an event or a tournament so we can say fuck you and not watch that tournament because fuck Nintendo at this point. Like Nintendo to my dick at this point. The names of community tournaments may not include Nintendo trademarks or IP such as Nintendo's company name, logo, product, or service names such as game titles, names adopted from Nintendo games such as character names. This includes any shortened or modified uses of Nintendo trademarks or IPs. So, if the name of your tournament pays any homage to any Nintendo game, nah, fuck you. Fuck you. Gotta change it. Why? Because fuck you, we said so. So other than referencing the game to indicate which game is being played at community tournaments may not make use of Nintendo trademarks or IP, including logos and character art as part of community tournament activity. I'm hoping that applies to official art and not like fan made art and stuff like that. Because actually, it's Nintendo. Yeah, that probably includes fan made art because fuck supporting the people that love us and respect us. We're just gonna rub them all over the ground. Because why? Because we can. The game used must have been officially launched or service has officially begun in the region where the community tournaments is taking place. For example, pirated or modified version of Nintendo games must not be used. Clap it up. Clap it up. I'm a god at predicting shit. I am a god at predicting shit. Did I not say 5 seconds ago? They're probably going to specifically mention it, but none of that Project M shit. I told you, bro. I'm telling you, my nigga. And this is This phrase comes from like traditional fighting games, but dog, I tech that grab, bro. Wait, my camera's off. It's been bugging me. I'm sorry. But bro, I tech that grab. I'm telling you, I predicted this shit was gonna be in here, and I said it. I tech the motherfucking grab. Games with online play must use online gameplay services and or servers officially provided by Nintendo. So let me translate this for y'all, or for those of you who may not be familiar with Smash Bros. Smash Nintendo Online is fucking awful, and I don't mean this in a it's not lag free 100% of the time 24/7 fucked up. I mean, like, if you play 20 matches of literally any other fighting game right now and play 20 matches of Nintendo Online, how bad it is speaks for yourself. Constantly lagging. It uses an inferior type of outdated net code that was tested in and I had to be in across the hall setup, because there's no way if they tested this with any real type of stress test, they wouldn't have noticed how bad it is. So basically, if you want to use a better online service, for example, something like what do you call it? Like Parsec, or if you want to create your own server and use a modified version of the game, for example, Slippy, or use like some type of cracked up Hamachi enabling version of Smash to be able to go do the online tournament and have good online. Nope, fuck you, suck dick. You gotta use our shitty service that is terrible, that we've been promoting and not fixing at all. Yeah, you gotta use that. This reminds me of that quote from, I believe it's the owner of Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, he said, nobody pirates products they don't mind paying for. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but the quote is something along those lines. Basically, what he was saying with that quote is that if something's good, you don't pirate it. If something's reasonably affordable, you don't pirate it. For example, when's the last time you brought pirated Doritos? Like, when's the last time you went to somebody who is making Doritos in their crib to buy Doritos instead of spending a quarter or 50 cents or $1 at the store just buying a real bag of Doritos? Now, that's a very, very loose comparison, which I may admit is not one-to-one, but the concept still stands. If it's better to buy the real version than the bootleg, I'm going to buy the real version. An example, even though I fucking hate iPhones, which one would you rather buy? A real iPhone or a fake iPhone? A real iPhone, because a fake iPhone is not guaranteed to have all the features and all the quality of life changes and implementations as a real iPhone. But let's use something more loose. Sneakers. Opinion differs. I'm personally in the camp of don't. But logistically speaking, it doesn't make sense to buy real sneakers, because at the end of the day, if nobody can tell, they're gonna look at it and go, "Oh, those feet look cool." So, same thing with Nintendo's online service. If your service was good, nobody would pirate or bootleg it. They would just buy the real thing. Let's think about it like this for a second. Have you ever heard Microsoft say, "Hey, you people running Halo tournaments, you have to use Microsoft Online. You have to use Microsoft Gold. You have to use Microsoft's online services." Have you ever heard Nintendo? Have you ever in life heard freaking Microsoft have to tell the community this? No. Why? Because they provide a good online service that runs smoothly and properly, so that their community has no choice but to use it. You know how frustrating it is to get niggas to use Parsec to set up a server on Hamachi? Your online has to be really, really bad to get somebody to want to do that consistently over and over, instead of just plugging in their Switch and paying $20 a month. Back to reading the rest of this document. That's a big fuck you to the community. This shit is making me mad. The organizer posts the following notices on site and on tournament websites and other promotional materials. Nintendo said, suck my dick. We have nothing to do with this dumbass tournament. Fuck y'all. We don't care if this is free promotion. And terms for participating in and viewing in community tournaments using Nintendo games, accompanied with the following URL, which I believe is this URL. Let me check and see. Okay, yeah, it is this URL. Basically, if they're doing anything wrong, we want them to provide the information for you to be able to snitch. So, I just want to point out, and don't say I'm giving anybody any ideas, because hating ass niggas are going to figure out other better ways to hate than this. But this is already an existing way that hating ass niggas are already going to know. So if I go to a Smash tournament and I just feel like being a jackass, I could record and get a nice sufficient amount of evidence that you violated their terms in their dumbass document and send it straight to Nintendo. Why? Because fuck you. I'm a hating ass nigga. Terms for participating and viewing community tournaments using Nintendo games for all participants and spectators. So this means here's the fuck you. Even if you're watching this tournament, here's our capital fuck you to anybody watching this tournament. Nintendo wishes to support Nintendo wishes to support making Nintendo games. No, you don't. Nintendo wishes to support making Nintendo games, online services, and events safe, friendly, and enjoyable for... Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Hey, ooh, let me fix this real quick, inspect element. Let me fix that real quick. That people love just to say fuck you to our customers and fans. All right. There we go. Okay, I fixed it so it reads properly. They left a typing mistake. Nintendo wishes to support making Nintendo games just to say fuck you to our customers and fans. That's what they meant to say. To this end, we have listed below a few things that Nintendo would like to ask you when participating in or viewing community tournaments. Please read through them carefully. Please comply with a Nintendo account user agreement and community guidelines. Sensible. Regardless of the tournament result, please respect everyone. Sensible. Including other participants, spectators, organizers, management staff, and refrain from any discrimination, abusive language, or offensive or inappropriate behavior. Now, what this sounds like to somebody who doesn't know better, what this sounds like is be a respectful, decent human being to anybody, whether they win or lose. What they're really saying is if you say anything bad at all, so something as simple as, I don't like this character's playstyle, Nintendo put this clause in there specifically so they can ban you. So basically they're saying, unless you're a blind dick rider for Nintendo, fuck you. And I really, really, really hate the fact, like, Nintendo goes out of their way to make sure that everybody who likes their games and understand all the slight backhanded shit that they did, they make it so that the people who love their games also hate their love for the games. Because, like, I love platform fighters. I really, really love platform fighters. That's the only reason why I would even read through some bullshit like this, knowing what it is on top of that. Like, I don't have to read this to already know what's in it. Like, before I even read it, I can understand everything that's in it, and I kind of literally know everything that's in this fucking document because I've been watching the community for that long, and I know the history of the community that well. But like, I love these games at the end of the day. I love playing these games. I want to support these games, but I literally can't. I can't. And I'm not even talking about on a monetary level, because the one thing I will give Nintendo their clap ups from, one thing I will give Nintendo their flowers for is that They're assholes, but they're not money hungry. Cause I had a debate with somebody on Instagram in the Instagram comments, which is so fucking weird, the other day, that they said they wish Nintendo put alternate costumes inside the game where people could, like, for example, buy Halloween costumes from Mario and Smash Brothers. And I said no. And people, they were saying all types of shit like, yeah, they should add a battle pass to Super Smash Brothers. No. No game, I mean, no game has been made better by microtransaction. Show me a game with microtransactions. I'll show you a game made by a company that doesn't give a fuck about you, because the way that microtransactions are designed at all, the concept of microtransactions, it's a TED Talk seminar that somebody did about microtransactions, but the mindset that even thinking about adding microtransactions into your game has nothing to do with the game's quality. Microtransactions ruin every game's quality. Do you understand how much money it takes to play 2K on an even playing field at a competitive level? And like, for example, in Smash Bros, to be at a competitive level in Smash Bros, all you have to do is play the game and understand the deep mechanics within the game and get better at it. 2K, fuck you. You gotta pay like $200 to $300 to even compete with the people, with everybody day one. Because on day one, there's people buying the super ultra mega deluxe package and just paying for their character that had maximum stats so that they could go in the gym and just dunk on literally and figuratively dunk on everybody in the my park and just destroy everybody, cross everybody's ankles, shoot from across the fucking court. Like, niggas is spending like $200 on that game day one for a game that's $70 on top of that. Like, microtransactions in a free-to-play game, don't get me wrong, they're still shitty, but they at least make sense and they're justifiable because the game is free and companies don't run off of adoration. So while they are shitty, the game is free. So you don't have to buy into it, but the company has to make money somehow or else they won't be able to keep making these games. But not only are you paying $70, listen, hold up. Let me pause the music. You're paying $70 for a game just to turn around and pay $70 3 more times. Do you understand how fucked up that is? Nintendo, while they do have the DLC Fighters Pass, I'm not going to say they've never done any type of DLC or anything like that. The reason why I could justify the DLC in Nintendo's case is because those characters were not done at launch. And just think about it. Their flagship game, Smash Bros, if they would have waited till every character was done, would have gotten pushed back to 2021 for a console and a game that could have been released in 2018 and 2017, respectively. And it's not like the game Smash Bros released buggy or Mario Kart or Breath of the Wild, what's the latest one? Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Super Mario Odyssey. Nintendo doesn't drop games that are their games have bugs because every piece of software has bugs. Let me get that clear. But when somebody calls a game buggy, they mean like Cyberpunk. Like Cyberpunk, even though from people who have actually beat the game, I haven't actually beat the game, but I have played it. I don't want to risk my computer because I paid too much fucking money to build this computer. But Cyberpunk, fantastic game. Majority of the people who brought the game can't even play it because it's that damn buggy and it's that damn messy. It might just fuck up your whole computer. Because I would have probably beat Cyberpunk 3 times over. That game released in 2021. It is 2023 and I have not touched. What I played on my original channel. That's as much as Cyberpunk as I've ever played in my life. Never touched the game. Never watched nothing on the game. Not the anime. Never read a comic on the game because I want to beat the game and get my ending and then go watch all the content about it, watch other people's endings and stuff like that. So with that being said, the one of the things, very, very few things I can compliment Nintendo on is not engaging in shitty business practices in terms of post-release monetization. But with that being said, let's go back to this. Participants must abide by the rules of the event and games and avoid using inappropriate player names or team names. So basically, if a player wanted to use the name Kill Me, like KILMII, or Fuck Me, FUCKMII, can't do it now because Nintendo said fuck you. Underage participation should consult with and obtain consent from a parent or guardian before participating in community tournaments. I'm not gonna lie. I saw a video Zero did where he was talking about the Wadi allegations, where I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just giving credit and context as to where this statement comes from. But Zero talked about the Wadi allegations, and he said that there are a lot of other competitive games that make it so that if you are under the age of 18 or your legal age in your state, that you have to be accompanied by an adult when you're at the tournament. I don't disagree with that. I feel like I feel like under 15, you should have to have like a legally signed permission slip. Like under 15, the way I think it should be worked out is under 15, you have to be accompanied by a parent. No ifs, ands, or buts. We don't give a single fuck. If you can't prove that you're 18 or older, and we're gonna assume that you're under 15 and send you the fuck home. You gotta leave the venue. But if you're over 15, you either have to have a signed waiver, like a specific signed waiver from their website that you have to print out and that your parents have to sign and date, like legally sign and date, that you bring to the tournament. They put it on record and they get it notarized that this statement was signed and written and said to be truthful, to be there by yourself. And if not, doesn't matter. If you're under 18 and you don't, if you're between 15 and if you're 15, 16 or 17 and you're there without the slip, packed up, gotta go, leave, bye. There's too many cases of Smash players having sex with underage with underage players. Even though there were a lot of fake allegations thrown around, there were also a lot of real scenarios that happened. And this is not a Smash exclusive thing. This is just competitive games in general. Please stop that shit, because there's a lot of situations where there are like, and there's not even a Smash specific game, because I know people who have never played Smash a day in their life that are like this. Some people just mentally don't leave certain stages of their life, so they think certain things that aren't okay are okay. In this case, we're talking about having sex with people in high school. Some people physically, age-wise, date-wise, location-wise, responsibility-wise, day-to-day routine-wise, leave high school. But mentally, they still think they're in high school and still think they can do high school things. Sometimes those things are high school kids. Sometimes those things are acting irresponsible in a high school way. Sometimes those things are engaging in the same inappropriate behaviors around the same age groups as when they were in high school. Because like, if you're in high school and you're showing hentai to another high schooler, I mean, you're still a fucking weirdo, but technically it's not illegal. You get what I'm saying? Once you grow past a certain age, you should know that that shit is weird, and not weird in a way of like, oh, you play video games and I don't understand you, you're weird. Weird in like a, nigga, I feel like that's breaking the law kind of weird. Number one. Number two, illegal. But back to the document. Back to the big fuck you to the Smash community. Where's my wood at? I need to refuel. I got a lot more reading to do, and I need to refuel and really get my thoughts out, bro. The use of unauthorized software or tool. Oh wait, no, I read that. Oh wait, no, I didn't. They repeated it again just to say, like, if you're a spectator of Smash and you own let's say a copy of Project M, we can clap you if you want to. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, if you download or have or use Project M, Nintendo can clap down on you and say that you're making use of pirated versions of their games, even though that's not technically true. Logistically, they can clap you if they want to. Nintendo reserves the right to take appropriate action. So for example, IP ban you if you say fuck. God forbid you play Nintendo and somebody beats you by you say, damn, good games. Oh, you curse. Press it. Press the button. Press the button to clap them. Press the get them out of here button. If Nintendo wants to, they can clap you right off of their platform. So if you're in a live stream where they're doing tournaments and stuff like that for Smash Bros, I would suggest don't say fuck, because you might just get IP banned on your Switch and perma banned from all Nintendo Switch online games. That might even go as far as flagging your credit card, just to really set the point in. We don't want you using our shit if you're over the age of I'm able to now say fuck. The organizer, so the TOs, adhere to, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, I should have clarified this earlier, but TO is short for tournament organizer. That's basically the people who run the tournament event. So the people who collect the prize pool money, the people who set up the Nintendo Switches to the TVs, the people who clean off the tables at night, the staff who come and sweep the venue, wipe down the table, if a switch or a setup breaks, the person who's responsible for fixing it. Tournament organizer, that's what they're referred to as. So the nigga running the tournament organizer. Organizers are responsible for ensuring community tournaments comply with all applicable laws, including but not limited to. So just for those of y'all who've never read in actual terms of services, including but not limited to is usually their way of saying, if you don't follow this rule and we feel like it, we're going to say we didn't specifically state it, but we basically said it. That's what including but not limited to means whenever you're reading any types of terms of service or anything. But not limited to protection of personal information for participants and spectators, and appropriate parental consent for minors. Organizers must ensure the health and safety of participants and spectators to the best of their ability. Fair, for example, giving out COVID masks. If you see somebody in the venue, kicking them out and saying, bro, we don't know what you gotta go, my boy. You gotta have anything from an STD to the flu. We don't want to take any chances. You gotta go you gotta go. And you gotta leave, big bro. None of that put on the mat. You got to go. Organizers will make full efforts to create a community tournament that is friendly and welcoming to all, and that fully respects the dignity of participants, and will not tolerate harassment or discrimination of any kind, including Bass Ed on race, ethnicity, nationality, ideology, religion, belief, origin, social status, class, occupation, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status. I get why they added all these ones, but marital status is kind of fucking funny and age is kind of hypocritical, but okay. Organizers will not permit gambling or the use of alcohol or drugs at community tournaments. I don't know if Nintendo understands how hard it is. One, how hard it is to obtain a venue. And two, if they understand, if they're making it so that more or less the tournament has to be all adults. Because let's be real, not every person who goes to a tournament is going to be able to get their mom or their dad to sign a permission slip to go. So these tournaments are going to be damn near sausage fest full of just grown men. Why the fuck? Let's say let's say the tournament is 21 plus only, because I've seen tournaments like that before where they've been held in bars and stuff like that. 21 plus only. Why can't they serve alcohol? Number one. Number two, one thing I want to also mention is that Nintendo's $1 million company, so nobody who's in the position to have to make these rules might understand this, but it's not easy to acquire a fucking venue. Let me repeat that one more time just in case. It's not easy to acquire a venue. The reason why and here's some insight that I do know. The reason why a lot of Smash tournaments are held at bars is because it's easier to hold it at a bar versus literally anywhere else. All right. Lock in with me for a second. Peep game real quick. When you run a tournament, right? You have to run it somewhere, correct? Not everybody has the means to run a tournament in their house, and not everybody knows somebody who's rich and has a house big enough to be able to run a tournament, right? Keep it right here with me. Lock in, lock in, lock in. So, not everybody is able to have a venue in their crib or something of that sorts. Meaning, we have to have the venue outside of my house. A lot of people who are tournament organizers who are also doing this nonprofit, and by the way, have to rely on people paying money in advance, which means this basically fucks with the ability to run a local, because nobody's paying 2 and 3 weeks in advance for a local tournament that's a weekly or monthly or something like that. Just give you a little bit of perspective. You basically have to buy an event space to run your event. The reason why a lot of Smash tournaments are ran in bars are because if you can bring me, if me as a bar owner, I go, okay, you're running a tournament. If you can bring people in here who are legally of age, obviously, who are coming in and buying drinks, I can give you the event space for a reduced price if you can guarantee me how many drinks they're going to spend. So let's say you can guarantee $500 in drinks tonight from people coming to the event and buying drinks and me being able to serve drinks and stuff like that. Let's say if that wasn't included or the bar was going to be shut down while you did your event, let's say that would have been, I don't know, $1,000 for me to have to shut down my bar completely, cut off all access to alcohol, all access to food, none of my staff in there, just you and your gaming setups and all your gamer people and all the security and stuff like that, bag checks, metal detectors, whatever the fuck, all of y'all just in there playing the game, stinking up the place by yourself, right? Let's say I would have charged you $1,000, but you guaranteed me minimum $500 in drinks, and let's say, to be generous, I charge you, let's say 500, no, let's say 300. Let's say I charge you 300 for you to run the bar, run the tournament with a paid bar where people have to still buy their drinks. No open bar, you still gotta go buy your drinks and pay for your drinks. A lot of Smash tournaments get venues like that. Majority of Smash tournaments I know that aren't like the fucking Pounds and the Apexes and Revival of Melees. I don't even know if some of those tournaments are still around, but like the tournaments like that aren't those levels where they have lots and lots and lots and lots of money and lots of people coming from all around the world to compete and all that type of hoogity boogity stuff. The reason why those people are able to rent out venues and stadiums and all this other shit is because they have funding, they have backing, they have sponsors. If I'm a local tournament, I don't have any of that shit. That's why I need to run it in a bar that can sell drinks so that I can actually afford to get the venue and run the fucking tournament that gives you free tournament. Excuse me. That gives you free press and free coverage for your game. Don't understand what about that idea. They don't understand, but okay. This reminds me of a quote. The other day, I was at a film festival, and what one of the people on the panel that I was in that was talking about directors, one of the things that they was mentioning was that a lot of the times, you gotta keep in mind the head, top, tippy top people in these companies, they have no fucking idea, and I mean no fucking idea what they're doing or about anything of what they have to do. They just know they went to business school. They could have went to business school and now they're in the business of playing video games, and they've never touched so much as Candy Crush a day in their life, never picked up a remote to play Wii bowling, none of that shit. Now they're just in charge of a company like Nintendo. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case at Nintendo, but I'm saying there are a lot of businesses where that happens, and I don't know if that's the case for Nintendo, so I'm gonna assume that's the case for Nintendo, because with shit like this, I can't imagine there being any other case. I dead ass can't. Organizers are responsible for ensuring community tournaments comply with all applicable laws, including but not limited to protection of personal information for participants and spectators, and appropriate parental consent for minors. Sensible. Organizers must ensure the health and safety of participants and spectators to the best of their ability. Also fair, meaning there should be security. There are some tournaments and stuff like that I understand can't afford security, and those are usually way smaller events. But at the end of the day, having security at your event isn't like something you should take lightly. The health and safety of the people at your event isn't something you should take lightly, because God forbid somebody gets mad and throws their controller and punches a nigga in the face, and the person who got punched in the face decides to sue the tournament, and you ain't have no security, you ain't have no waivers, you're fucked. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You're fucked. They just won free money from that tournament, because the judge, they may not know how hard it is to run a Smash tournament, how hard it is to get security for a Smash tournament. They're gonna go, oh, you're a grassroots tournament? That's cool. It says here that you had no security. Oh, you're a Smash tournament. This is a for fun tournament. Oh, okay, that's cool. It says here, like, they're not going to give a single flying fuck. So I understand that it's hard, but hey, it is what it is. This is one of those moments where I just gotta tell you, figure it out, little nigga. I can't help you. Organizers will make full efforts to create a community tournament that is friendly and welcoming to all, and that fully respects the dignity of participants, and will not tolerate harassment or discrimination of any kind, including biased. Oh wait, I read that already. Organizers will make sure that participants and spectators are 18 or older according to the applicable age rating. Are of age according to the applicable age rating of the game used in the tournament. So, for example, none of that shit where we got people who are 15 in Call of Duty tournaments. Even though that's not a fair example, you get my point. Like, if you're not 18 and there's, let's say, a Call of Duty tournament, can't play. For the use of any intellectual property rights owned by a third party, organizers must obtain permission from those rights owners separately from these guidelines. That is fair, but I don't really understand that. I understand it to an extent. Basically, what they're doing is called, and like business, this is what you call a CYA moment, or like a CYA type ruling, which basically means cover your ass. Because in the world of professionalism, everything is about doing whatever you have to do in the most emotionless way possible, and aggression is a strong emotion. So if you're angry at somebody, in the world of professionalism, you're supposed to always snitch and then be passive aggressive about it. It's fucking stupid, but that's how it is. Basically, what they're saying is, if you use property rights from somebody else and they try to step up to Nintendo and say, we want to sue you because they were playing your game at this tournament and you should have shut them down, Nintendo's basically saying, hey, we told them not to do that shit. Look here, we wrote it down. We said don't do that shit. You got to talk to them about that. That's basically what this is. This is basically a nuh-uh. That one's not even a real rule. That's a nuh-uh moment. In addition, Nintendo games may not be used for community tournaments that are illegal or inappropriately conducted, or could be viewed as offensive or otherwise inappropriate, as further described in Q16 below. So I'm gonna wait till I read Q16, but I'm assuming they're basically talking about like nude mod tournaments and stuff like that, which is a thing I heard about that's fucking wild, where basically they play like people, not exactly nude mods, but people will play games where there's like modified stages and stuff like that. One example can be playing where the characters have nude mods and it's like an 18 plus tournament, or playing where all the characters have like modified Halloween skins. So like if you're playing Smash Bros and you're doing something like that, or like let's say for example Coinbox, the box, when they use Slippy, there's custom stages for the box that like, and for example in the middle of Final Destination, you know that orb in the middle of Final Destination and Melee, they replace it with with a 3D version of Hungry Box's logo. Basically, anything like that, can't do it. That's what I'm thinking. It says. In addition, Nintendo games may not be used for tournaments that fail to protect the health, safety, and dignity of participants and spectators, have sponsors, or that advertise or promote any entity, products, or services, promote any campaigns or initiatives based on personal or organized opinions, ideologies, or belief. What? So basically, if So what I'm thinking this means is, if let's say I run a Christian Pentecostal church and I want to have a Smash Bros tournament for my Christian Pentecostal church, can't do it. Include anything that changes the value of Nintendo brand and intellectual property. Fail to follow these guidelines. Involve anything that Nintendo deems inappropriate. So basically anything but playing our game in the shitty way we shittily intended. Nintendo reserves the right to take legal action against... There we go. W, another big fat fucking W for Nintendo. If you don't follow our dumbass rules, we get to sue you. Some of these rules make sense, but most of them are stupid as fuck. Nintendo reserves the right to take legal action against any or cancel any tournaments that in its sole discretion. So basically, if we feel like it, fuck your tournament, including any tournaments that violate or are likely to violate these guidelines or measures, such as prohibiting individuals who violate these guidelines or engage in other inappropriate acts from hosting tournaments in the future. Nintendo is not responsible for any problems that may be arisen between organizers, participants, spectators, or third parties regarding operation of community tournaments. In addition, please be advised that Nintendo will not respond to any individual inquiries regarding guidelines or Q&A. I'm gonna read the rest of it. We may update these guidelines in Q&A from time to time, so please check the latest guidelines in Q&A before announcing and conducting a community tournament. If there are special provisions in other Nintendo guidelines, please follow those guidelines as well. Okay, so yeah, like I thought. If you don't understand what they said right there, basically what they said right there is, we ain't helping you with shit. Follow our rules or die. Fuck you. Suck my dick. I'm out. I think I gotta go buy milk and cigarettes. Like, they basically said, we fathered this game and fuck you if you like it or I'm gonna play it at all. So I'm gonna just read it. Like, here's all the questions if you want to skip through the video and like see a specific question or something like that. I'm gonna put it on full screen so y'all can really see it. But if y'all want to see a specific question, I'm gonna make all of them separate and I'm gonna go through each question and talk about what I think about each question separately. But here we go. There's 19 questions. Question 1. What does a community tournament permitted by these guidelines refer to? A1. A community tournament is permitted by these guidelines must meet the following requirements. Nintendo's copyrighted games will be used in the tournaments. At all. If tournament is organized by individuals, don't know what the fuck that means. It is a tournament in which players as individuals or non-profit teams are participants. So if you're a sponsored player and you go to a tournament, damn, I just thought about that. That's fucked up. So for context, to explain, let me finish reading it, then I'm a explain it all the way. It is not for profit tournament. For profit tournaments include not only those who are organizers or persons running the tournaments seek to receive direct benefits such as money or indirect benefits through advertising and promotion, but also those that benefit third parties. So this applies to advertisers too. It is a small scale gaming tournament with 300 or fewer participants for online tournaments or 200 or fewer participants for in-person tournaments. So another thing that I would like to add, damn, that's fucked. Damn. So basically, for those of you who don't understand why that's like a crazy rule for them to add, basically when it comes to, all right, let me use sports as a base to explain this. When people go to see, let's say, the Lakers, why do they go? Some people go because it's the Lakers. Some people go because it's free. But the people who are paying to go see, why do they go? By the way, this is being recorded in 2023 for anybody watching this in the future. They go to see LeBron. Now, there may be other good players on the team like Curry and stuff like that. But who is the main person that niggas want to see on the Lakers right now? LeBron. If I'm going to see the Knicks, and let's say a couple years ago, 2015 or whatever, I wasn't going to see the third man on a bench. Bitch, I wanted to see Carmelo Anthony. If I went to see the Bulls, to a Bulls game in the 90s, who was I going to watch? It damn sure wasn't the third man off the bench. Bitch, I wanted to see Jordan play. I want to see Dennis Rodman play. If I was going to the 90s Celtics, I want to see Larry Bird. If I was going to the 2000s, I believe it was the Nuggets. I don't remember what team he was on, but if I was going to see the team that Allen Iverson played on, I wanted to see Allen Iverson. If I was going to see the Giants in 2015, nigga, I want to see Eli Manning. When fans of certain things go to see certain things, I'm not saying this to discredit players. I'm saying discredit players who are lesser known, but I'm saying this as a fucking reality check. If I'm watching a Melee tournament, the average person does not want to see random nigga 1, 2, 3. They don't want to see fucking somebody who just started playing Melee yesterday. No, they want to see Mango, Hungry Box, Plup, SFAT, S2J, Hacks Money, Hugs. Well, I don't know if those last couple still play, but you understand what I'm saying. They mainly want to see the players who are like super famous and super great and super well known at the game come play. They want to see ranked players play. A lot of ranked players are in for-profit teams. That means a lot of top players are not going to be able to come to your tournament. So a way that you would be able to get your tournament popping, even if it wasn't for profit, even if, let's say, I'm just randomly coming to this tournament just because I was bored and fuck it, I decided to play. I can't because I'm a sponsored player and it's in contracts. Some contracts that if I go to any tournaments involving this game, let's say I'm a Smash Bros player, if I go to any Smash tournaments, I gotta put my jersey on and I gotta go show up, and when I show up to play, meaning if I'm a sponsored player, I dead ass just straight up just can't go to anything other than like majors and super majors. Because if I go to your local tournament, community tournament, I might literally get you sued by Nintendo just by showing up and competing. So basically, they're fucking with the viewership. Like they're actively trying to kill the competitive community, and this is one of the examples of what I was talking about. Because if you make it so that what they did is they made it so that people watch if I'm a random person watching a Smash tournament, the people that I want to see won't be in the tournament. Think of it like this. Imagine if you watch SpongeBob, but there was no SpongeBob. There was no Patrick. There was no Mr. Krabs. There was no Squidward. There was no Sandy. Whoever the main characters are, out of there. Miss Puff, gone. Pearl, gone. Karen, gone. Plankton, gone. It's just the fish in the town of the Bikini Bottom. Without SpongeBob and all of them. Shit sounds boring, right? You watch SpongeBob to see SpongeBob. You watch SpongeBob to see Patrick. All the other characters that I said in this example are gone. If they took all the SpongeBob characters out of SpongeBob and just left the background fish, you wouldn't give a fuck. There might be like 10 people out of every 100 that might want to watch. But you got to think, 10 people out of 100, millions of people watch SpongeBob. So 1/10 of a million people, 1/10 of every 1 million people that want to watch SpongeBob. So you go from 1 million viewers an episode to 100,000 viewers an episode. Do you know what that could do to a show on a network? On TV with advertisers? I just realized this whole time I didn't even have my light on. Do you know what that could do to advertisers? What that could do to people trying to run these tournaments and make it so not even that they're profitable, profit, runnable? Because community events, despite the fact that they're not meant for profit, community events still need to generate money in order to run. That's why entry fees matter. So like, how the fuck am I supposed to run a tournament if nobody's willing to put money into the tournament, especially not the game? The people who are making the game not able to run the tournament. They're trying to make it so that people who bring viewership can't show up to the tournament. So nobody want to watch this fucking tournament. Means nobody wants to pay to get into this tournament. Means other people who pay to get into this tournament to play like top players and meet top players, they don't want to come to this tournament. So who the fuck is going to be at the tournament? Just me, God, just the tournament organizers, and God is gonna be at the tournament. Who the fuck wants to watch that? It's just a couple tournament organizers and God standing around doing this shit. Sure would be nice if there were, spectators in this venue to play the game. Like, this limits and clips off the community's ability to run real good community tournaments down by so much. Is sickening. Is using Nintendo's games, logos, character images acceptable to promote community tournaments? Is it also permitted to use images from Nintendo games to decorate the venue or to use music, sound effects, etc. from Nintendo games as background music at the venue? What the fuck, bro? Like, so y'all pay all this money to all these orchestrators and all these other different musicians involved in the process of making Smash Bros. All this money to make these fucking songs that I can only hear while sound. Like, you gotta keep in mind, when you're playing Smash, all you hear is bow, bow, the boo bow, bang, boof, the biff, the bang, bang, bang. I gotta listen to music over that sound or not listen to it at all? What if I just want to listen to the fucking song? Because Nintendo is allergic to releasing their songs to release. And while I may not like it, because I'm so glad I don't, because Nintendo's big fuck you to their fans. But while I may not like it, there's communities and communities of people who just love and enjoy watching and listening to Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Music. Let me stay on topic. I kind of lost the topic for a second there. There's millions and millions of people who love just listening to the background music of Smash Bros. Games, listening to the remixes of different games, themes, and stuff like that. I can only listen to it while I hear boof the biff the bang, the boof the bang, the bang, bow, bow, pow, 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 pow. I had to listen to the music through all of those goddamn sounds. Like, bro, how is that fair? What, like, why make a great game with great things in it that people might want to enjoy separately if you don't want niggas to enjoy it? Like, I don't know why Nintendo is allergic to people enjoying their games. I really don't get it. No, it is not permitted to use Nintendo game logos, characters, image, game designs, music, or sound effects for community tournament promotions, venue decorations, or venue background music. However, you are permitted to use footage and screenshots captured from Nintendo games for any promotional materials for your tournament. What are some tournaments that are not permitted by these guidelines? Goddamn. Tournaments that are not permitted by these guidelines and include but are not limited to below are for-profit tournaments. These are not permitted under these guidelines, even if they only change entry fees and admission fees below the amount specified in these guidelines. Online tournaments that collect admission fees for spectators, which I've never seen that shit a day in my life. Tournaments that make it a condition of entry in tournaments or viewing tournaments to subscribe to or follow YouTube channel or an X account or any streaming channel, social media account, or subscribe to a paid membership. Wow. They've been studying. So to translate that, something that some people do, like I've even done this before, is like when I host open lobbies for Smash Bros, I'll say I only play with people who follow me and join my Discord as just a way to get my following numbers up with people who actually care about the same things that I care about. They basically said fuck you to all of that. And there's some people who, for example, I don't want to name any Smash players because I'm not a snitch, but like, for example, there are certain players, top players and stuff like that, who the way they'll do it is, if you're one of my subscribers, one of the perks of being my subscribers is when I host lobbies and stuff like that, you can hop in and play with me. So or Nintendo's where subs and stuff like that, just for my subs. So if I'm doing a community night and stuff like that, and if I'm doing a community night and stuff like that for subs only, or for people who donate only and shit like that, can't use Smash in the tournaments. Online tournaments that collect admission. Tournaments in which participants are a paid performance fee or other expenses. So again, this is another thing for top players. So there are tournaments, for examples, and I'm not saying this stuff applies necessarily to this tournament. I'm just using them as like a base example to get a point across. So none of this shit all of this could be false information. All of it could be real. I don't know. Assume that it's all false and that I'm using it for the example of, for the purpose of understanding. So Smash Summit, for example, what they'll do is they'll invite, let's say, 32 different players of, let's say, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate to come out and play in a tournament. Basically, if let's say I'm the staff at Smash Summit, if we were to pay those players, let's say $1,000 per player to come out, and then the winner gets like the money in the prize pool, like on top of you being paid to show up at all, and then on top of that, traveling fees and stuff like that. If in addition to the prize money, we pay you to show up and play regardless of whether you win or lose, and just play your heart out, fuck us. We're also unsanctioned. Tournaments that receive goods or money from third parties such as sponsors. Oh, by the way, if this tournament is sponsored, fuck you too. Tournaments involving the sale of food, beverages, or merchandise. So if you're holding a Smash tournament as a side event at a convention that sells literally anything, fuck you. Please note that Nintendo does not currently grant permission for individuals to organize commercial tournaments. We ask for your understanding. How can we ensure that the total admission fees collected at in-person community tournaments do not exceed the tournament setup costs? When organizing in-person community tournaments that collect admission fees, please set the maximum number of spectators in advance. Why? That's limiting the amount of money that I not only have to run this tournament, but to run future tournaments. As community person, what the fuck? Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. Please ensure the actual number of spectators does not exceed the maximum. Please, I'm pretty sure, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do the math. So 10,000 divided by, and they said it cannot exceed 15. Wow. So basically, I can only have 66. So $15. Hey, hold up. Let me check something. 15 times 66. Yeah, hold on. I was about to say that math seemed a little bit wrong. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's 3 zeros. Okay. That's still bad. So basically, I can have a tournament where only 600, not 600 competitors, because if somebody competes at more than one tournament, that counts as more than one. Think of it as how when you watch a YouTube video, if I watch the YouTube video today and then I watch it tomorrow, those count as two separate views. So this isn't 600 people. This is 600 total times people paid to be in a tournament. 666, which is a funny ass number because Nintendo's being demonic, funny devil number. Ha 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 ha. Wow. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, was that sub? Oh damn. Damn, that's wicked. That's wicked. So I could literally only have 600 people participate in a tournament a year. Wow. Is it possible to name a community tournament after a specific product name, service, or third party? I can answer that for you already. Hell no, it wasn't okay in the first place, but people did it as like homages and stuff like that. But that legally, that has never been allowed. Community tournaments and Nintendo games may not be used to advertise or promote any entity, products, or services, or to promote any campaigns or initiatives based on personal, organized opinions, ideologies, or beliefs. Therefore, you may not use the name of a third-party corporation, organization, product. Oh, okay, let me keep reading. Participation in the majority of spectators. However, if the individual organizers, participants, and the majority of spectators of a community belong to a single legal entity, organization, the name of that entity, organization may be used in the name of the community tournament. Example, if organizers and participants If organizers, participants, and the majority of spectators are all students of XXX University, a tournament with a name such as XXX University Tournament will be allowed. Damn. So basically, if your name doesn't, if you can't use the name, whatever name you're giving to your tournament, it basically has to be a straight up name. So shit like Gamo or Double Down, can't use it. Can't use it. Cause why? Cause fuck you. SmashCon, fuck you. Can't use it. Is it permitted to use Nintendo game titles or character names as the names of the community tournament? It is not permitted to use Nintendo's trademarks or the IP name of a tournament. For instance, Super Smash Bros. Challenge and Splatoon Throwdown are not permitted as names of community tournaments. However, you are allowed to include game names in the description of a community tournament to show which games will be used in a community tournament. Similarly, I just thought about something. I got all this blank space on this page that I'm just not using to make it nice and big for y'all blind motherfuckers. However, you are not allowed to include game names in the description of community tournament to show which games will be used in the community tournament. Similarly, Nintendo's characters must not be used in tournament names, but you are allowed to include them in the tournament description to show which characters could be used in the tournament. So, for example, if Steve is banned in your tournament, you can list every character permitted and list every character but Steve. We want to live stream the community tournament on network services such as YouTube. Is this possible? For posting or live stream, oh my god, back to this shit. Hold on. Oh my god. So if y'all don't remember, Nintendo used to have a policy that if you're playing a Nintendo game online, you can't unless you're in their specific Nintendo partner program and you follow their super specific, super family friendly rules. And let me put it like this, long story short. I, on my original channel, never passed 122 subscribers. Before they instated that program, all 10 of the times I made videos with Nintendo games, they straight struck my shit and said, you can't watch this in any region. Let me remind you, again, this is not something like using music where it's content ID and all I have to do is click yes, let it slide, no, let it slide. No, this is Nintendo video game content. So if I, before they got rid of the program, if I so much as made a video where I was talking about Nintendo games and I used footage of Nintendo games, you couldn't watch my video. So if I made a video talking about Smash Bros, let's say giving tutorials on how to play the game better, and I showed you a throw combo in Smash 4, they would have took your fucking video down. That's how bad it was. That's how on dick they used to be. And it looks like they're bringing that back with this. For posting or live streaming community tournament related content such as videos and still images that use footage and screenshots captured from Nintendo games to personal accounts on appropriate video and image sharing sites, or monetizing your post, please obtain permission from the participants beforehand. Basically, are you okay with being on stream? Asking that to everybody. Participants beforehand, and refer to the Nintendo game, which, to stop for a second, to be fair, legally you are already supposed to do that, but realistically, it's not that serious. Nintendo, refer to the Nintendo game content guidelines for online video and image sharing platforms. In addition to these guidelines, if you decide to monetize your community tournament related posts such as videos and still images based on the Nintendo game content guidelines for online video and image sharing platforms, please be aware of the limits in the total amount of revenue that you can earn from your posts as stated in these guidelines. So if your bread and butter is playing and making money from playing Smash and you want to make a community run tournament for a profit, you're clapped. Fuck you. Let's go ahead and drop another bomb and clap it up for another banger Nintendo decision. Another banger decision. So people who live and make money off of making Nintendo content, suck my dick, said Nintendo. Please note that that community tournaments and Nintendo games it's weird. When I read slow, I fuck up, but when I read fast, I don't. So Like I say, you can always press slow down. Please note that community tournaments and Nintendo games cannot be used to advertise or promote any entity, products, or services, or that promote any campaigns or initiative based on personal or organized opinions, ideologies, or beliefs. Therefore, with the exception of advertisements added by content distribution platforms such as YouTube, please ensure that ads, in particular third-party advertisements and logos, do not appear in the videos, still images, etc. that you share. So basically what they're saying is if you get a porn ad on YouTube, which I have seen multiple times throughout the years, so this isn't a glitch in the system. If you make a YouTube video and it has porn or scam ads on the YouTube video, we're completely fine with that. But you want to run a brand safe ad for something as harmless as Maruchan, Top Ramen, fucking Duracell batteries? Fuck no. Let YouTube run that condom ad on your video. Get the fuck out of here. Stupid. This shit is dumb. Would a community tournament be permitted by these guidelines if persons affiliated with the legal entity or organization or organizers or participants? What? Would a community tournament be permitted by these guidelines if persons affiliated with the legal entity or organization are organizers? I'll read the answer and see if it makes sense. If persons affiliated with a legal entity or organization would like to organize a community tournament or participate in a community tournament as an individual outside the legal entity or organization and not in an official capacity on behalf of the legal entity, then yes, or organization, then yes, the community tournament will be permitted under the guidelines. If you would like to organize a tournament or participate in a tournament in an official capacity on behalf of the legal entity or organization, you must apply for and obtain all permissions as specified in Q14. Wow. So basically, there's basically another way to say if you're a sponsored player, fuck you, stop making money off our game. Q9. With a tournament, also to add more context, basically if they were doing a tournament where, let's say, Duracell and Energizer made a tournament where Duracell flew out some players and Energizer flew out some players, where Duracell players, people played on behalf of Duracell, sponsored by Duracell. This the Duracell team, and they got Duracell on their shirts and shit. Like the Duracell team, like you got flown out and paid to play on the Duracell team, not allowed. It's clip. Fuck you. Would a tournament organized by individuals but outsourced to a legal entity or organization for operation be permitted under these guidelines? So basically, if let's say, actually, let me read. If the operation of a tournament or the operation of a live team is outsourced to a legal entity or organization, the tournament will be deemed to be hosted by the legal entity or organization. Therefore, this tournament will not be permitted under the guidelines and will require a formal license you can apply for and obtain from the link in Q14. So basically, even if it's a community tournament that I'm not running for profit, if you make money off of running tournaments for people and that's how you get paid, another bomb for another banger decision. Another bomb. I just love how Nintendo, how Nintendo just takes their community, and like I said, they just you like having fun, you little bitch ass niggas. Yo, stop having fun playing our fucking game. Yo, you having fun? Are you profiting? Are you making a living for yourself playing our games? What's wrong with you? You alright? You profiting off our games? You trying to make a living off our games? You trying to make a life for yourself off our games without our permission? I'll shoot the shit out you right now. That's basically what they said. Because I don't know specific people, but I do know there are people that do this. And yeah, this is shit. Is it acceptable? Q10. Is it acceptable to use Nintendo products as prizes for community tournaments? Hell no. Oh, Nintendo products may be used as prizes so long as the product has launched in a region where the community tournament is taking place. Please refrain from using unreleased products or promoting community tournaments Please refrain from using unreleased products for promoting community tournaments or as prizes. So if you pirated a copy of Pikmin 7 early, You can't say, oh, if you win this tournament, you get Pikmin 7. Just to help you understand, basically what Nintendo is trying to say is if you run a tournament, is if you make a tournament, we don't want you to run it with cash prizes. They want you to do dumb shit like what Nintendo does, which is, oh, you win this tournament, you get a controller signed by Sakurai. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but that shit doesn't pay bills, my nigga. Question 11. I want to organize a large tournament with 300 or more participants in an online tournament or more than 200 in-person tournament. What should I do? Currently, we do not grant permission for individuals to organize tournaments with more than 300 participants in an online tournament or more than 200 participants in an in-person tournament. We appreciate your understanding. If you would like to organize a tournament that exceeds the cap, please consider dividing it into blocks as described in Q12. If you want to host a tournament using Nintendo games as an organization such as club, please apply through the link in Q14. Q12, the total number of participants across all blocks is expected to be over 300 in online or 200 on in-person tournaments. If a tournament is divided into blocks, such as Block A, Block E, so Pools A, Pools B, and so on, and the total number of participants in a block held on the same day does not held... Oh my god, this shit hurts my head because these rules are so fucking dumb. Does not exceed 300 people for online tournaments or 200 for in-person tournaments, can I still host a community tournament based on these guidelines? Answer 12. These guidelines permit a community tournament divided into blocks hosted by a single organizer as long as the total number of participants per day does not exceed 300. So if more than 200 people, if you have 5,000 people come to your tournament and you have 200 or less people competing in your tournament for the day, cool. Which for larger tournaments, for the likes of Evo and stuff like that, just don't work. And stuff like this makes me sad because there are so many, like, not even so many, literally every Smash tournament is a grassroots tournament. There are like so many tournaments that are affected by subtle, bubbly, dumb shit like this. Like, imagine you get 5,000 participants for your game, but because of Nintendo, whoopsie, you can only let's use a regular number. Let's do the math real quick. So let's say their maximum for in-person is 200, right? Their maximum for in-person tournaments is 200, right? So let's do 200 minus 1,000. Because let's say your tournament gets 1,000 people and in a day you can only run a tournament with 200 people per day. So why did it... What the fuck? Did I put the wrong symbol? Oh my god, bro. Why is it holding me like this? CAL. Oh my god, I literally have to click each key over and over. 200 minus 1, 2, 3. So that means that each day, because remember, each day you can only use a maximum. You can only run a tournament where a maximum of 200 people compete. So if 200 people compete in a tournament in your first day, you got 1,000 people signed up, guess what happens? You got 800 more people for tournaments to run. And then what's 200 divided by 1,000? That's what? 1,000 divided by 200, I think would be the... You know what? I'm going to just do 200 times, I think, 5. Yeah. So that means... if I'm doing pools, I have to do 5 fucking days of pools if I'm doing an in-person tournament. Because we're going to ignore the 300 shit for now because most tournaments are in person. Most of the tournaments that people perceive as mattering are in person. So I have to do 5 days of pools. Let me repeat that. 5 days of pools just to get... We're not even talking about top 32... Top 8 Sunday, none of that shit. We're talking about pools. 5 days of pools. Now, on average, when it comes to Smash tournaments, pools usually take 1 day. Top 32 or top 64, depending on the size and the frequency of the tournament, happen. Top 64, top 32 happen the second day, which is usually a Saturday, and the third day, which is usually the Sunday, which is called top 8 or final Sunday. That's when like the top players who like are in the top 8 places for the tournament, that's when they compete to get their final rankings to see who wins prizes and things of that nature, right? Before we even get to that, most venues and Smash games, most of the time, it's more easy and reasonable. Bitch, if you don't get your bloody ass off my bed, off, bleeding over my bed, bro, off. Now I gotta change the sheets again. Off. Thank you, sir. Most of the time, when they get venues and stuff like that, the reason why I'm tripping over my words. Most of the time, when tournament organizers get venues, they only get the venues for 3 days because that's all you need to run a proper tournament in a realistic amount of time. Because remember, time is not infinite. We die eventually. To run a tournament with more than 200 people, I would have to run 5 fucking days of just pools. This is not top 32. This is not top 8. This is not the part of the tournament that actually makes some fucking money. This is just the part of the tournament where people are fighting to qualify. This qualifiers. People are fighting to qualify. The people who make us money so that the tournaments can even be run, be profitable, so that the tournaments can be run and break even, have to wait 5 goddamn days before they can get to the part to where they actually start generating some income, generating some revenue. That is so unimaginably unrealistic. It is damn near impossible for me to explain, bro. Like, you don't even have to be a financial expert. If you're a nigga that's ever had to spend $1 of your own, you understand that's fiscally impossible. Well, not fiscally impossible, but for a grassroots tournament, see, for a tournament with sponsors, this is where sponsors come in. Because what sponsors do is they give you money before anyone signs up for the tournament so that you can do things like book the venue that the tournaments are going to be held in, buy the equipment for the tournament that the game is going to be played on, make it so that top players who you have to fly out so that people will actually, God forbid, watch your tournament, will come out so that the tournament can be watched. That's what sponsors are for. That's what paid teams also help do. They make it cheaper so that when top players fly out to come play at your tournament, guess what? They're at the tournament, so that's relieving pressure off of the tournament organizers to try and pay for top players. Hey, stop. That's relieving financial stress off of the top players from them having to figure out how to get there. That's relieving stress off of the people who run the tournament to figure out how they're going to make it so that people actually give enough fucks to watch this tournament. That's relieving financial stress. That's relieving money out the budget so that they could focus the budget on things that matter. Like, for example, hiring security. The most important part of a tournament, the goddamn venue, because it doesn't matter what all you can pay for. If you don't have a venue, you don't have a tournament. So the venues, the security, renting metal detectors, hiring staff, and by the way, just so y'all understand, business 101, hiring somebody does not mean you pay them. You can hire an unpaid intern. So if somebody is volunteering for your game, you have to reach out somehow. Even if you're just putting a post up on your Facebook, anything from putting a post up to your Facebook to running a Facebook ad to running a YouTube ad, that shit ain't free. You gotta have, because even if you're thinking, oh, I make posts all the time myself, that's free. No, it isn't, because somebody has to dedicate time out their day to do that. Some people go to work. Some people have jobs doing other things. So somebody has to dedicate time out their day to do that. And like the only reason why I'm making this video is because my other channel got clapped and I'm yelling it till I'm blue in the face. But bro, Nintendo, I don't know what has to be done, but Nintendo, like, they don't give a fuck about us, bro. They're active, like, bro. This is another reason why I could never get into going into tournaments for Smash Bros. Because despite the fact that I love the game and that I don't mind buying nose plugs because I love the game that much, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not fiscally possible. It's not logistically possible. It's not realistically sustainable. Like, my support system, even if I had one in place, the $1 million support systems that top players had in place, Nintendo's working on destroying those. So it's like, it does not matter what I do to try and make it so that I can passionately play this thing that I love. Nintendo's going out their way to just say, fuck you, get a job, little nigga. And it's like, damn, you hate the people who love your game that goddamn much? That much? Really, nigga? Really? I can't understand it, bro. I really can't. Can school clubs or neighborhood associations host community tournaments under these guidelines? School clubs are organizations. However, they may conduct competitions without requiring a license as long as the following conditions are met and they adhere to the stipulations within these guidelines. Participation in the tournament will not be open to the public, and participation will be limited to the members of the school club. Another dumbass rule. The game tournament can be a standalone head-to-head competition between up to 2 schools, but will not involve 3 or more schools because fuck you. And the tournament will not serve for ranking or qualification for a later tournament or championship because double fuck you. Basically, what they're saying is that you can have a tournament, but you can't have a tournament series where you're placing, where how you rank in previous tournaments affects your seed. Stupid. Any tournaments that meet the above conditions could use the names of the 2 participating schools or school clubs and their name as long as both of the schools agree. If the above does not apply to your tournament or you are an organization other than the school, such as a neighborhood association, please apply as specified in Q14. If an individual wishes to use the name of a school or company in the name of a community tournament organized by the individual, please see Q5. Schools can also register with and participate in tournaments hosted by licensed partners of Nintendo. How can legal entity, the fucking question they've been saying everybody should look at. So hold on, let me stop the music. Let me, well, even though it was at a silent part of the beat. The question that matters the most, this is the one that they have been hyping up. I can't see. This is the question that they've been hyping up. This is the moment that we've been waiting for that determines everything. This is the question that they've been saying means the most out of everything. So guys, be vigilant, pay attention, watch out. This is the question that means everything. How can legal entities or organizations host game tournaments using Nintendo games? For a corporation or organization to conduct a game tournament using Nintendo games, the corporation or organization must make a separate application to Nintendo and obtain permission to conduct the game tournament prior to announcing the tournament. A Nintendo license number will be assigned to the game tournament that Nintendo has separately licensed. It is up to Nintendo's sole discretion whether or not a license will be granted to a corporation or organization. If you are a legal entity or organization wishing to host a game tournament using Nintendo games, please submit an application for a license to use Nintendo games in your tournament. The application form will be available in early November. So if I want to run a tournament and I want to plan like months in advance for a tournament that's being held in, let's say, late November, basically it's fuck you. And if I learned anything from the Smash World Tour, incident. It doesn't, like, without getting too technical and too opinionated, long story short, what happened with the Smash World Tour situation, if y'all don't know, is basically Smash World Tour, while Nintendo's fuckery was involved in them shutting down, they did go against the clear rules and guidelines set by Nintendo. Like, for example, Nintendo told them to apply for a license, and that the license that they applied for was going to take a couple months for them to get. And they was like, yo, in order to be able to run this tournament the way that it's supposed to, the way that we originally promised, we're gonna have to announce it by a certain date. And Nintendo said, yeah, the date you're saying you're gonna announce it by, the time we're gonna take to read your application, which it takes 1-2 seconds to do, yeah, fuck you. We're not gonna do that. Why? Because I said so. Suck my dick. So again, Nintendo's typical usual fuck everybody attitude, fuck everybody who wants to enjoy our games and make a living off our games attitude comes back. Q15. Oh wait, hold on. Q15. How can I host a game tournament using Nintendo games as part of a charity activity at my high school? For students to host a game tournament using Nintendo games as a part of their school's charity activities, the school to which the student belongs to must make a separate application to Nintendo to obtain permission to conduct the game tournament. Any game tournament that Nintendo has separately licensed will be given a license number by Nintendo. Please visit here link, which, to be fair, they said won't be available to Nintendo till November, which I will spin back and read because fuck you. Please visit here and apply. What do tournaments that are illegal and or inappropriately conducted or that could be viewed as offensive or otherwise inappropriate refer to? Tournaments that are illegal or could be viewed as offensive or otherwise inappropriate include but are not limited to tournaments that, which again, this goes back to the CYA thing, and this is also some common sense stuff, but they have to put it there for legal reasons. Violate laws or regulations, infringe on Nintendo's intellectual property rights, which according to Nintendo is just buying the game and saying to any other living human, hey, I own Smash Bros. According to Nintendo, they'll clap my channel, but I say suck my dick. I'll take y'all niggas to court. Use a false Nintendo license number. Fair. Interfere with the proper operation or impair the safety of Nintendo products or services. Stupid, because if I bought the game, I should be able to do whatever I want with it. Involve illegally copied or modified. Illegally copied, fair. Modified, fuck you. Because sometimes there's stuff in your game that releases broken that will never be fixed. For example, UCF and Melee. There are certain quality of life changes that y'all niggas ain't gonna add to the game, but we still want to play this game competitively too, so the community just does it their fucking self. Like, for example, adding online to Melee. Nintendo is never, and I mean never, going to add online to Melee. So why are you mad that we did it? Why? Why? I want to know. I want an official statement from Nintendo on why they hate Slippy. Involving illegally copied or modified game software. What? Game software produced, because that made a lot of sense. Using Nintendo's copyrighted material without Nintendo's authorization or game software obtained illegally. So if you stole it, technically you can't use it. Fair, but what the fuck? Involve cheating, cracking. So if you cheat at a tournament, you put the whole tournament in risk of getting clapped forever. Involve cheating, cracking, unauthorized access, circumvention of technical restrictions. So, for example, like I said, shit like UCF, fuck you. Let's drop a bomb for another banger Nintendo decision. Clap it up. Clap it up for them. They just knocked it out the park with that. They knocked it out the park with that decision right there, boy. Game fucking set. They knocked it out. They really did. They knocked it out the park with that decision. Because if a nigga that has nothing to do with this tournament cheats at this tournament, it has nothing to do with the tournament organizers or the organization organizing the tournament cheats, it's suck my dick. If we're using a community made mod of the game that makes it so that more people can play this beloved game, fuck you. Another banger, let me drop a bomb for that banger Nintendo decision. Oh my god. Unauthorized modification or use of objects, tools, or services that enable such cheating, so turbo buttons, cracking, unauthorized access, circumvention of technical restrictions, or unauthorized modification. So, by the way, just so y'all don't realize how umbrella of a term this could be, if you plug up Melee to an HDMI converter via a GameCube using Melee to an HDMI converter, they can clap you because of this clause right here. If you emulate Melee without the UCF, without all the other fixes and stuff like that, they can clap you. If you, what else? What's some other very common cases? Oh, if you play Melee on it, let's say you legally dump your copy of Melee to an SD card so that you can play it on your Wii. Can't do that. Let's say you legally dump to emulate your game. Can't do that. I already said you can't emulate your game. Anything that requires playing it in any way other than the original way, can't do it. So if you can't find a bunch of flat screen TVs with less than a millisecond of delay that are like CRT levels of delayless that have composite cables, oh well, fuck you. Suck my dick. Why? Because Nintendo said so. Use of game consoles, accessories, and software not licensed by Nintendo. Oh, so also for the GameCube thing, because it's getting increasingly harder and harder to find a GameCube, if you're using like like one of those cheap Amazon things that has a GameCube emulator in it, to like modifying it to be, well, not even modifying it. Let's say you get a Raspberry Pi and put the BIOS of a GameCube on there and put an emulator on there and software on. Oh, I already said emulator. Can't do that. Anything like that to play Melee in any way other than using a Melee CD and putting it in a GameCube and hooking it up to a CRT and playing with original GameCube controllers, which by the way, if you're using a box controller, Nintendo, they don't like that. They didn't design box controllers for the GameCube. They didn't sell box controllers for the GameCube. Therefore, not allowed. Oh, and also, if you have hand problems or anything like that, and you medically have to use a box controller because you, I don't know, want to be able to write when you're over the age of 40, fuck you. Use the GameCube controller. Fuck up your hands. If you're Hacks Money, hey, your hands exploded. Guess you just can't play our game you paid $60 for. Thanks, bozo. Or unauthorized modification. Use of game consoles, accessories, and use of video, images, sound sources, etc. that cannot be used in regular gameplay extracted through game software via data mining and other methods. So, if you, let's say, use voice lines and stuff like that were hidden in the game's code and not meant to be used through modding, I already said modding's a no-go. Tournaments that otherwise violate Nintendo's community guidelines. Q17. Like, the more and more I'm reading this, like, I love Smash so much, but like Nintendo makes it so that I hate myself for liking something that's good and fun. Why am I being punished for enjoying something that you put a lot of passion, work, and hard time into? Why am I being punished for being happy? Seriously, like, take a second to think about that. Nintendo is punishing you for being happy. Literally, actively spitting in your face and punishing you for being happy. I don't get it. Okay, let me take a tissue and wipe all that up. But they're literally mad at you and punishing you for being happy, bro. I don't know. I'll never understand it. What exactly are prohibited items that cannot be used as prizes? No goods or services listed below may be offered as prizes community tournaments. Items that are illegal, offensive, or inappropriate. See, the thing about this that y'all may not realize is offensive is a very vague blanket term. Because, for example, let's say I run a church and our first place prize is I don't know, a custom Bible. Nintendo can sue you for giving out a custom Bible. Because if I'm Muslim, that's offensive. If I'm an atheist, that's offensive. If I'm Buddhist, that's offensive. Do you see how vaguely the word offensive can be used? And those are just obvious cases. I could get way more technical into it. Illegal products or services or those that infringe upon the rights of third parties. So if you're giving out bootleg shit or giving the winner crack, items that are discriminatory or misleading. So if you make an all male tournament and where if you make a all male tournament and no actually if you make a tournament where it's all white people and give the winner a Klansman outfit, no go. Which I mean makes sense, but it's still misleading. I want to know what I can't even think of a case for that means, but I'm pretty sure that I'll watch somebody else's review of it and I'll be sitting there like, damn, that's fucked up because that's not even fair. Gambling like services. So like I don't know, under betting, I really can't think of it. This shit got my brain fried. Information products such as virtual currency and data. So if the winner of this tournament gets Bitcoin, which it's ironic, I saw that a little while ago. There's like an old tournament from like 2015 where the last place winners will win Bitcoin and shit like that. But if you do anything like the winner gets Bitcoin, fuck you. Any activity that is damaging to Nintendo's business or brand. That's basically anything other than buying the game and playing it by yourself where nobody else can see it. Goods or services provided by a person selling or advertising above items or services. So a sports betting platform. If you run a Smash tournament for a sports betting platform, don't do it. Alcohol, cigarettes, and other age-restricted items. Nintendo products that have not launched in the region where the community tournament is taking place. Products and services targeted for ages older than the age rating of the software used in community tournament. Weapons and imitated weapons. So, if I note that even within the scope permitted by these guidelines, if there are other restrictions imposed by applicable laws on the provisions of goods and the price limits for pricing, you must comply with these conditions and these conditions. Oh, fuck. With the conditions of those restrictions. So basically, let's say this is like an anime con, right? And first place gets like a replica of Kirito's sword or some shit like that. Can't do that. Or let's say it's like a cosplay event and like, oh wait, I basically said that. This is a very nuanced, different example. Jesus. Well, we're almost to the end of this bullshit parade. Q18. Under what circumstances would Nintendo request a cancellation of a community tournament? Nintendo may request. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Where's my music? Where's my music? Here's the cases where big bad evil Nintendo gets to dick you down. Nintendo may dick down your community tournament in its sole discretion, whatever the fuck they feel like, including any tournaments that violate, or may, kinda, could, just a little bit, technically only on a Thursday, even though this tournament was held on a Saturday, violate these guidelines or that Nintendo deems inappropriate. In addition, Nintendo may request a cancellation of a community. They didn't say the cancellation of a tournament. They said we can clap your whole community on behalf of a rights holder of intellectual property rights other than Nintendo upon receiving requests from such a rights holder. You gotta think about that, bro. You gotta take a second to think about that. Nintendo is out here. Wait, that's the wrong song. I don't think I programmed it. Fuck. I think that's the wrong song too. But fuck it. Nintendo basically. Damn! I pressed the wrong button again. But Nintendo basically said, if for any reason we feel like you're violating our terms of service, basically, more or less, we're going to clap your whole community. I don't know if this is a typo, but I know, knowing this shit that Nintendo has did in the past, it said Nintendo may request a cancellation of a community on behalf of a right holder. What? Question 19, the final question. Was this helpful? No. Fuck out of here. Suck my dick. Q19. I'm planning to organize a game tournament and I made an announcement about it before these guidelines were released. However, Q14 of the guidelines states that I would need to make a separate application and obtain permission to conduct my tournament. The tournament is scheduled to take place after the effective date of these guidelines. Do I need to make a separate application to obtain permission? For information on whether or not separate application is required, please see below. Tournaments announced before, this question is probably going to disappear later on. Tournaments announced before the date of release of these guidelines, which is today, the date of recording is 10/25, probably the date of upload 10/25. You are not required to make a separate application to determine permission. At least they're giving a grievance period, but still, dickhead move. But at the same time, they made the game, so legally, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Tournaments announced before the date of release of these guidelines that will be conducted in 2024 or later. You are required to make a separate application to obtain permission. Tournaments announced after the date of release of these guidelines that will be conducted after the effective date. You are required to make a separate application to obtain permission. I don't really think, now that this is all over and that I could just speak, like, I don't think there's much more that can be said. Like, we see it clear as day. Nintendo, they don't really care about us. Like, Nintendo, they don't give a fuck about their competitive community. I never understood it, and I don't think I'll ever be able to understand how you're this anti-consumer. Like, imagine if I sold you a plate of food and let's say you had a son, right? You had a small child with you. Let's say your son, your nephew, whatever. Let's say you ordered a plate of food and as soon as you come to try and give some to your son or whatever, I smack the shit out of you and say, nah, you gotta buy another plate for him. So you order for me to bring you another plate of what you had, and you try to feed that to him, and I come over and smack it out your hand and say, no. And here, you can't feed anybody under the age of 18 anything that isn't on the kids menu. So if you stroll in here and you're 17 and you order an adult meal, nope, order off the kids menu, little nigga. It's like, what? Like, if I'm at a restaurant and you said something like that and I already paid for the food, I'm like, all right, you know what? Good shit, little nigga. You got me. You hustled me once. You got my money today, but you will never get my money any day after today. Like, that's basically what Nintendo is doing. And like, a lot of my thoughts I said throughout here, but like, just for those of you who kind of skip through it or skim through parts, basically this is like a big fat slap in the face from Nintendo. This is a huge, large crap on our days, and Nintendo is making things unnecessarily hard for us to run tournaments. They're not showing no empathy. They're not showing any level of understanding towards their community. All they're seeing is a bunch of, I don't know what they're seeing, but all they're seeing is a bunch of kids playing a game, and they're like that old man saying, get off my lawn, when his lawn has no gate, or kids are just playing in the street and the ball goes into their yard. You know how like cartoons always have that old angry man or angry woman on the street where if you kick a ball into their yard, that ball is just gone for the rest of time and your mama's just gonna have to beat your ass today because you're not getting that shit back? Yeah. That's what Nintendo is with their games. They're that cranky old man that if you kick a ball into their yard, he says fuck you and he goes, takes the ball into his crib and pops it. Like, just dickhead shit. Like, if I dropped the ball in your yard and you told me don't come in your yard and you gave me back the ball, that's one thing. If I just kicked it into your yard and you just never did anything to the ball, that's another thing. But for you to come outside after I accidentally kicked the ball into your yard and say, fuck you, you little bitch ass nigga, come, punch me in my throat, then take my ball, go into the house and take a pen and pop it, it's just like, why? Why did you do that? Legally, yes, you do have the right to do that. Yes, 100%. But at the end of the day, morally, it's like, why? Even in terms of business morals of prioritize profit, this doesn't make any sense at all. This makes zero sense because money, like practicality wise, you would be better off promoting your competitive scene because it's free marketing. Even if you dump money into the scene, it's free marketing. Bro, I want you to understand this. The Smash fan community is so just scarred from their relationship of Daddy Nintendo's abuse. We literally, at this point, will just go for you saying, you can run the tournament. We don't need a damn dime from you. Just give us the thumbs up and we'll run the fucking tournaments ourselves. Please just get off our dick. That's all we're asking. All we're asking from Nintendo is that fans of the game can remain fans of the game. Like, there are people who make a living for themselves solely playing Street Fighter, solely playing Mortal Kombat. Like, yes, you can become a content creator and all this other stuff, but there are people who make money solely off of Overwatch, solely off of Call of Duty, solely off of 2K League, solely off of Madden League, solely off of, like, there are people who make money solely off of playing these games and supporting these games and the community around the games that they love. I don't understand why Nintendo is allergic to like free marketing, free money. All they have to do is say go ahead. Like, there's certain guidelines in here I can understand, which is the obvious stuff, like which I said they should make it so that if you're a minor you should have to 100% of the time have your parents permission. But if like you're a very young minor, like middle school aged and stuff like that, you should have to be, it should be legally required for you to be accompanied by a parent or something like that. Like, there's certain stuff like that that makes sense and is kind of like common sense rules, but there are other rules that are just a straight up direct fuck you to the people in the community for literally not, I'm not even gonna say no real reason, for no reason at all. There's no reason at all, because like, if this was a shitty decision you were making that at least made you some money, I could understand. Like, for example, adding microtransactions into a game, into a free-to-play game. While even in free-to-play games, I don't like microtransactions and I don't support them, it at least makes sense because you need to monetize your free game so you make money somehow. So while it is still shitty practices, it makes sense because at least I get a free game out of it. But to pay $70 for a game and then get microtransactions on top of that, that's shitty. Not saying Nintendo falls under this category, but what I'm saying is that like the behavior they're engaging in is so much more worse than microtransactions. Is incredible. Like Nintendo is single-handedly the best and the worst gaming company at the same time, because in terms of the quality of the products they release, I'm not saying they never drop, like I'm not saying no Nintendo game has ever flopped. I'm simply saying if you look at lists of the greatest games of all time, no matter who you're talking to, you're gonna see a lot of Nintendo games. Even from a person who's not a fan of Nintendo games, there's certain games that should just be on that list for how great they are. For example, like Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Smash Brothers. Whether you pick anything from 64 to Ultimate, Smash should be somewhere on that list. Zelda is guaranteed to be on that list. Which Zelda? It doesn't matter. I'm not in the fan base. I don't care. But Zelda is guaranteed to be on that list. So like, to see them repeatedly and constantly dick down their fans for no reason and just fuck over their fan base, it hurts, bro. It hurts. And like I said, they make it so that I regret loving this wonderful thing that has like this wonderful community around it. Like they release genuinely great games and they have a high standard of high average quality standard. But things like this make it so that like if you do anything other than just blindly play the game, it's a big fuck you, middle finger to you. Why are you enjoying our game? Like, I know I'm rambling a little bit and I hate it, but like, yeah, man. There's gonna be iCards all over the screen. I'll say click this video if you want to watch me talk about a game with some kind of developer support. Literally any other platform fighter. Cause like what I want to do is I really want to help uplift. Like my goal now from now on is to uplift literally every platform fighter that's good that isn't Smash. Cause like this is like the final fuck you. I can't take it anymore, bro. This is the final fuck you. They're making it so that literally I can't run a tournament. I can't logistically run a tournament without being scared that Nintendo's gonna clap me. And this isn't like something that applies to like two people. Like there are multiple instances of Nintendo coming to fuck over the big guy and the little guy. Nintendo does not care. They will dick you down at every chance they get. And I really, 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 like I said and keep reiterating, don't have a full grasp on why in the fuck they're doing it, like at all. But like my goal for this channel from now on is to support any good non-Nintendo platform fighter. So if it's a platform fighter that isn't Nintendo or isn't Smash based, even if it's a fan game, I want to support it. Send it to me. I want to support it. And it's already a couple games I support, which if you've seen some of my other videos, Nick All Stars is a game that I support, even though there is still a big corporation behind that. I support Nick All Stars. I'm gonna start supporting Slap City. Fucking, I'm already in the credits for what's the name of this game? Framemakers. And when they releases, I get a copy day one, a Steam copy day one. So like it's certain things like that like I'm just gonna start doing more of, because like this is a genre with so many that like that's just so fun to play and has so much potential to explode, but it's held back because their biggest game, like by far blowing everybody out the water, their biggest game that's bigger than everybody else is held back even then. Like, bro, I can't stand it. Like I said, this is the final fuck you. They spit in my face for the last time. Like, for me, honestly, you got to spit in my face one time for me to realize it's a big, like, it's up. But, like, to spit in my face this many times, I don't know, man. I don't know why anybody would want to continue making Smash content. And like I said, this is a new channel, and my old channel got clapped. So, like, all my older Smash content, I will be reposting it, but I'm really going to try my best to refrain from making new Smash content because, like, they really, 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 really fucking hate us. And I don't understand why. That being said, man, it's going to be a video right here where I talk about and make videos reacting to and supporting literally anything that's not a Nintendo platform fighter. Latest video, no. Platform fighters, latest video. Subscribe to the channel. Put it right over the doggy body. With that being said, clap it up for yourself for making it to the end of this video. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share the video with all your other homies. You know, watch this, have a conversation about this. With that being said, peace out, y'all. Don't forget to eat the Buddha like a bunny. Okay, bye. Have a wonderful time.